just outside of Palmdale. We weren't here for a happy reason. We were here to help the neighborhood prevent a horrible serial rapist by the name of Christopher Hubbard. And again, so horrible, he got the nickname the pillowcase rapist because he was pillowcases the screams of his victims. And again, his M.O. was to wait, scout out properties, homes, and then when men left for the day to work, he would attack the women.
There's some idiot psychiatrists at a mental hospital in California. They ought to have their degrees taken away, and they ought to be thrown in prison, too, for what they've done. They decided that Christopher Hubbard, they knew for sure he never was going to rape again, even though he has done this over 100 times that we know of. And then a judge named Gilbert Brown in San Jose approved his release and decided he should come back to Los Angeles because decades ago he once lived in the county of Los Angeles. And they looked at over 500 sites, and lucky you guys, they picked here.
This was the lottery loser. On Friday, we found out that it was 17132 Laredo Vista here in Lake LA. But if you are just tuning in, there's a half good twist.
We talked with a woman in Colleen about an hour ago. She made her way through the crowd, went to the front door of the house. Now, this house was attacked last night. Somebody threw rocks. There's at least 2 holes in the window in the front here, which isn't a good thing.
No.
That's going to create, more danger here in the neighborhood.
Vandalizing somebody's property,
But,
no matter what the story is.
this is what happens now because this address has been so widely disseminated, and people are angry with the owner. The owner apparently had signed up with some California program, and he was under the impression he was helping out someone down on their luck, somebody who needed a second chance. The claim is he had no idea it was the pillowcase rapist, Christopher Hubbard. So this woman, Colleen, who works for the owner, had the keys in her hand, put up a sign inside the front window that says there will be no parolees moving into this house. And so we asked her what's going on, and she said her boss told her he's pulled out of the deal. Christopher Hubbard's not coming here. That he had no idea that Christopher Hubbard was going to be assigned to this house. Now, we assume that's true, but we're waiting. We've called up Mike Antonivich's office, county supervisor. They've called the LADA, Jackie Lacey. What I found fascinating with all this bureaucracy is that nobody tells anybody anything.
Exactly.
Certainly nobody told you people what was going to happen.
No.
And if you believe the owner's story, nobody told him that Christopher Hubbard was coming here.
And with all the money we spend on government, you wonder what they do all day when they can't
What?
confirm a
That's
simple
what I'm
thing
saying.
like this. Yes or no? Is this guy out of the deal to house Christopher Hubbard here in Lake LA, where we're standing?
Now, we're talking with Mayor
Hope
Jim
by the end
Lett.
of the show, by the way, to get official word
Yeah.
in some way.
Yeah,
Steve Gregory's been here for KFI News. He's working on it.
But I imagine we call Antonivich's office and they go, we haven't heard anything. You call Jackie Lacey's office, we haven't heard anything. Who do you call? What's the chain of command here? It's also getting late. It's after 5 o'clock, so all the bureaucrats have gone home.
What we do have is a couple officials from Palmdale, the mayor and the mayor pro tem.
Tom Wacky, now just before the news, you're
The mayor pro tem and Jim Lett.
and Tom, your law enforcement experience is what again? For those?
I work for the Highway Patrol, 20 years.
Okay. Explain the GPS, because law enforcement, or at least parole probation officials, like to say, "Oh, don't worry, he's going to wear a GPS. Everybody's fine." And I have great doubts about that. Guy's wearing a GPS. Let's say it's Hubbard, right? Goes across the street and rapes a woman. What does it matter that he's wearing a GPS in terms of stopping the rape from happening?
Or even worse, with the Villino case, remember that? Where he kidnapped J.C. Lee Dugard. And the alarms went off many times and just nobody bothered to check on what was going on.
Right.
So, what's the real story from the inside on how these things work?
Well, actually, the GPS is just a tool that's supposed to assist law enforcement in identifying the location of this particular person that's being watched, so quote-unquote vigilantly. But it has limitations. It's not a perfect catch-all, and it doesn't assure safety to the community by any means. But it does assist us in locating exactly where the person is. But there are limitations. For example, it relies upon technology, which is not always reliable. Signals can be weak. They can also, it's been proven that they can remove these devices at times from their ankles. The batteries have proven to be sometimes not charged. There still are a number of vulnerabilities that exist. It's not a catch-all be-all. A lot of people think and feel too comfortable with these folks just because they're being monitored. And they do have somebody that is monitoring them pretty much 24/7.
How does that work? If he got loose, started running down the street, the GPS sends a signal to who?
It's probation and parole that are actually has somebody designated to watch those particular devices.
Okay, and when an alarm goes off on their desk,
I don't know the
their
exact specific
smartphone
process.
starts to beep.
Or a week later,
But I mean,
I've never seen the process.
5 hours
You're
later.
gonna lose at midnight and there's a woman in the neighborhood and then ran off in the dark, there's no street lights out into the desert. It's gonna take 20 minutes before a cop shows up, right?
Or more.
Or more.
Try an
So
hour.
the GPS is of no value in stopping that crime at that moment.
That's correct.
I think people need to understand that because I think that's
Right.
been way oversold. And what's your knowledge about how a guy like him would be monitored? Because they use the phrase close supervision for a time. What does that mean? How long? And what is close supervision?
Well, what it is, it's a requirement that that the state engages these people that they have to report to a certain number of people. And if they don't report, then law enforcement will come looking for them. And then we'll be reliant on information that's provided. It's not a perfect system.
But close supervision makes people think, okay, there's a guy sitting in a lawn chair on the front, in front of the door,
Yeah.
and Hubbard is going to be followed as he makes his way around town. But it's not that.
As far as I know, it doesn't occur that way.
Right.
Now, and another factor, if you had to bring in here, is AB 109. I'm sure you're both familiar with the prisoner realignment program.
He's shaking his head at that.
I have read that some of the parolees laugh because removing the GPS device is not serious enough to throw them back in prison because the prisons are overcrowded. They want to keep these guys out. The county jails are getting full. Obviously, the state is trying to reduce its prison population. Some of these guys are laughing at the GPS thing now because if they violate it, it's not serious enough to send them back into any kind of jail. That's another sad part of this.
Yeah, all these the measures, especially AB 109, was so poorly crafted that all it has really done is put us at greater jeopardy as a public. And I, for one, clearly don't appreciate that particular mentality, and I think they're thinking of the well-being of the wrong people.
Have you
And,
two noticed any increase in crime rates the last year or so here in Palmdale from?
Actually, that's our focus. We focus on these individuals. So I got to hand it to our sheriff's department. I think they do a fabulous job, and parole. I think they do a pretty good job too. But our goal is to hit those people on a regular basis, to make sure they're paying attention.